Wait, someone missing artifacts. Who the hell is missing artifacts? Oh, wait, yeah, it's Rogue Diana is having those artifacts right now. Wow, I missed the silence on the Kiki. So I got sacked for the nerf that Nefty's had randomly. Oh well, sucks. Yeah, 23 speed on that slot in the slot 3 despair I could actually use. This I feel confident in outspeeding. Issue could be where Molly makes me get resisted too much, but we shall see if that happens. Okay, we did have a few misses over there and over there. And apparently this thing likes to proc. And now we clear it. Yeah. So this is mostly how my InterServer goes. I first go through the list, cleave everything I can cleave, like all of those things. And then I go through my list and auto the rest. Even Kabila hit decently hard. My Kabila is actually on a... the main damage from it is additionals. Because the actual stats on it is a flat attack slot 4 and a accuracy slot 6. So those are not damage increasing things at all. This thing... Yeah, would I do it similar way? It is somewhat tricky though. Kinda depends how fast the Tian Lang is. This one is also tricky that way. This one is nuts. Yeah, just doing some InterServer stuff. Crit it, kill it. Oh, so close. Eat. Fly up RTA? No, this pair is better. I'll say, man. You like the new Linkin Park songs they dropped recently? Oh, they're okay. They're not bad. Still like the old stuff more, but it's still good. Pinky is nice. Still don't have it. We'll auto that one later. Like legit, everything I'm skipping right now to cleave is something we'll auto later. Okay, should die to dots. Won't die to dots. Wasn't resistance. It wasn't reset. Did resist. We'll auto later. Definitely won't auto, but we see if I can do what I do to Europe server all the time. Just 24 speed lead check a Kabila versus a 33 Triton and then fuck him up. Because, well, reasons. What's our TL lane HOH? Yeah, I guess so. If I had my Nefties and Amber on Swift, I could still hit the TL lengths with the exact same team. Currently, it's somewhat tricky. I could very easily auto this, but I can still cleave this as well. Oh, wow. Epic. Thank you, Amber. Fucking Nefties doing useless shit. Thank you, Amber, for saving my ass on that one. I legit landed nothing on that thing. And then it got stunned. And then procced out. Weird sequence of things. This I would most definitely do like this. And since there's silence on that thing, you die. Congratulations. Peace. Yep, we're going to 33 check a Triton again. Actually, I could very easily auto this as well, because there's not too much damage on this side. Well, technically Manon could do damage, but... Then again, we can also just 33 check it. Let's do some more damage on you to make sure that is at least dead. Okay, you should die to dots, you should die to dots. Easy. Yeah, this is your way that InterServer doesn't take as long until you get to the point where you can't use this all the time. Against you, especially with that, it's a lot more tricky. Still doable, but it is more tricky. Don't want you cleansing. Okay, I landed jack shit on left and right, but as long as that thing dies, I'm already good to go. And if everyone keeps proccing, then I'm also kind of good to go. Not bad. I think I can do it same way. But what if he has a Swift Nefties? Then I get fucked. Nah, might as well auto that one, just for the sake of it. I love how Genny was faster on 5 runes than mine on 6. Well, it kind of depends what kind of runes you put on Genny. Okay. Okay, Neftis, it's fine. You did your damage. It's gay. Shit. Don't proc. Thank you. Tiana buff also. I would almost say unneeded, way too OP, but fine. I guess I would have to auto you. I guess we do another 33 check. Actually, strange setup because he doesn't really have any follow-up. Like, there's no armor break on thing unless things proc, let's say. Nefties really likes proccing today. It's definitely a thing. Let's make sure this is actually dead. Okay, let's just make sure everything is dead. Yeah, sure, totally. I'm not gonna get lucky at any later moment today. Kabila's on a fast set. It's not my fastest set at the moment, actually. I guess we auto that later. We auto this later. That later. We should auto this as well because there's too much RNG in that one. And then this one, ooh, we can check if someone else has a fast Kabila. Nope. So yeah, this is what I do the first 10 minutes of InterServer. I cleave probably like 20-30%-ish. Wait, how many did I hit? 14! Oh wow, I actually cleaved about everything. Just 11 I didn't cleave. Okay, and then you finish off with this. Wait, let me check if they still all have the good runes. You're missing something somewhat somewhere. Let's just go for the typical -5 or so. And you still have the proper runes. Yeah, minus everything. Like, in the case you don't know, you go for this, right? And Alaya's also still missing a rune. Yeah, pretty much just this. Water Totem is hell underrated. I think she's not underrated, but yes, she is very good. Ooh, almost died. Thing is, I have to kill this thing first because that is the reviving part. Almost did damage on me, mate. Oh wait, I said I was going to auto. Sorry. I said I was going to auto. I auto these. Yes, I did. Well, some of them are more tricky to auto than others. That is definitely a fact. This one has some RNG potential, which you might not completely want to auto, but this one is not too bad. Main thing is, it will take a while before I can kill anything, because you have to kill Eladriel first. But it seems already doesn't have any destroy. Like, if I would rune this on defense, I would put at least something on destroy. Like, I don't know what, but something. Could put Lydia on destroy. Yeah, maybe. Weirdly enough, I would almost say Tian Ling on destroy. Well, it doesn't matter, but something had to be destroyed, because legit that Feng Yang is giving 2 counters and shit is nearly already dead. Like, these 2 units are on the left are just dying from counters. So yeah, this is how InterServer works for me. I did lose one this InterServer actually, and that was a Manon that armor broke my Leo on a counter. And then went for an S1, critted it, procced, went for an S2, S1, critted it again. Leo dead. I'm like, that is interesting. I haven't seen that happen before, but I guess that's how this auto team can actually feel. And sometimes Feng Yang starts spamming S2 when you totally don't need it, like he would have done normally over there. In this case, not. Okay. Okay, autoing these is always somewhat more tricky because of Tian Lang taking a lot of turns, and Elia can be annoying as well, same for this thing. But I still think it's very doable. It's just have to focus on Tian Lang first. The Nefty's heal block is somewhat annoying too, but most cases you're kind of fine. And he doesn't do damage either. Also, once again, it's one of those teams where something had to be on destroy, but I'm very confident that actually nothing is on destroy on this team. It's just with the heal blocks in there, it's it can be a painful thing. Yeah, Tianlang on InterServer, I would say is definitely not bad to have on Destroy. I just like it how Feng Yang is countering nearly fucking killing shit, right? Like, he countered this unit twice, it's nearly dead. Like, 2 counters, 1 hit, it's dead. Feng Yang is so broken. If you run it properly next to, well, pretty much this, I think this is pretty much the ultimate auto setup. Like, what would you guys say is a better auto setup than this? Like, including all LB5s you can think of. Because I don't really think it gets much better than this, actually. One fucking hit, man. Holy shit. Look at that. That's 2 hits from that Feng Yang. He's tanky the motherfucker. He counters, and he 2 hits everyone. Shit. Okay, this one definitely is more tricky to a certain extent. The only big difference is he doesn't have heal block, so he's fucked. Like, Seimei is just such a nice addition on this as well. Oh yeah, he has heal block on the S3, or the S1, but that is very rarely used. Plus, I think he lacks something, and that something is called damage. Plus, we have a Nyx on the enemy side that's completely counted out by Seimei, which is also pretty broken. Team has no strip anti-heal, I would help pass it. You don't have too many teams that have completely no strips, though, I would say. But yeah, his team is actually based on Nora doing damage. Once again, no destroy unit. Not even sure, I keep complaining about no destroy units. I'm not even sure if my defense on InterServer has destroy. Don't think so. I actually don't think so as well. But my defense is doing real bad on InterServer 2 at the moment, so maybe destroy is also the issue. Wind bear. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, the little Kung Fu bear is too good. See ya. Damn progress. The thing is, this team just takes long. So most of the time I'm just playing Chronicles or doing something else, pressing auto. We'll be like, we'll get there at some point. The only thing I do with like clicking a target right now to hit is just trying to speed up shit because it takes forever. Especially if they decide to go like that. Also, Alaya's skills have pretty lengthy cooldowns. That part doesn't really help. This is crit rate Leo. It is crit damage, yeah, it is. But it has a bit of everything. Mostly tankiness, actually. But also these, you can literally just auto this. No, we have to hit this one. So yeah, be right back. I'm going for some water. Am I dead yet? Nope, of course not. Oh man, this team is too good. This team is too good. Makes the InterServer almost boring, right? Almost. Well, it's just a few more. Yeah, makes a lot of no sense on that whole team. This is actually probably the worst pair you can do with a very good setup. Like, I'm not gonna lie. You have Tian Lang and Nyx, which are arguably the best defense units out there in the game right now. And you decide to pair it with a Vanessa, which is technically not bad. But a Vanessa and a Lewis? The fuck is that Lewis going to do except bore me to death? The unit will do absolutely nothing. Yeah, I would say that you legitimately have the best defense options in the game, and you decide to put something very weird next to it. Like, once again, I could have full autoed it, it just takes long. Oh no, it's alive. It's dead again. Do you think Leo, Feng, Riley +1 is good enough below G1 Arena? Definitely. So yeah, let's talk about if you only have like few of those units. So I would say Leo is pretty much a must in an auto team. Like, whatever you're doing, Leo is more or less a must in the auto team. Afterwards, Feng Yang is probably best next pair to it. If you don't have Alaya, then Riley is probably your next best option. Jesus, how to speak. And then as fourth unit, there's a bunch of options. So technically, you could go for a second Feng Yang. In this matchup, if I would have went a second Feng Yang, I would have had 3 turns armor break, which would be the only issue. What would be good in this one as a next pair would be either a Tetra or a Varamos. If you put Tetra or Varamos on the 4th slot, it's very easy. So you just want to keep going for those kind of things. I run Leo, double Feng, Riley. Yeah, something like that definitely works. I think it's somewhat more tricky because you have 2 units doing the same thing, which is rather speeding something up than improving it. But if you put this team with a Tetra next to it, or this team with a Veramos next to it, or any other annoying passive, like a Raccoon could work if there's no Triton on the enemy, or a Tian Lang on the enemy side. There's a whole bunch of options. You kind of just want to work with passives that work all the time. Like technically you could even do these three with a Verd. Would totally work. Because you're determining the amount of speed. And what I see some people doing wrong is like, oh, I have my Riley on my set that is still 140 speed. Yeah, don't do that. Make your Riley, like put the effort to put your Riley towards like as low speed as possible. 100 res, high HP, high defense, all of that kind of stuff. Same if you put a Veramos in here or a Vert in here, 0 speed is what you're aiming for. Like sure, you don't have to have 0 speed, but as close to 0 as possible. And as high stats and everything else as possible. And if you're one of those people who's like, yeah, but I don't have those kind of runes, then you wasted your time farming and selling everything that doesn't have speed. Because actually a lot of people that I told this team about and they said like, oh, but I don't have those runes. Like, weren't you the guy that was complaining about saying like, I farm like 6 years of giants and I never get anything, or 6 years of whatever and I don't get anything ever? Well, yeah, maybe you should have saved something instead of sold everything. If it's high efficient, you can keep it. Okay, in this case, I could potentially auto this, but I would say autoing this fully is somewhat tricky. It's also an option just letting Feng Yang go 6 times and instantly kill something. That's an option. It's an option. But yeah, even those skills, they barely do anything. I could go for this right now, but I'm just gonna try to remove something. Let's see what happens. Yeah, okay, and from there we can just... So I wouldn't necessarily auto everything, because this one, at some point, if there's that many debuffs from this unit, including a heal block, and then this one goes for a strong ass steel, you might actually end up with stuff that hurts, but if that doesn't happen, you just wait. So. Well, even with just with speed runes, like for example, my Tetra is rocking a, I think it's like 39 HP with like 15 speed rune on a slot 3 or something. That is Swift. So that rune looks really weird, but it's full on usable for Tetra. Well, not as a Tetra in this team, but Tetra that I normally run in RTA. So a lot of the things that you think like, oh, this should be sold, that should be sold, just put it on. Like if it's high efficient, give it a chance. Like anything that can roll high efficient, give it a chance. The only things that you shouldn't give a chance are things that roll high efficient, let's say 1 in each line. 1 in each line, 9 out of 10 is useless. But if you get 2 really high rolls in one line and then 1 high roll in another line that is kind of working together, a cohesive rolls or something like that, then definitely keep those runes. This one is also slightly more tricky because Kiki is one of the better units on defense, I would still say. So this one you definitely want to hit the Kiki as much as possible. Was that increased? Well, increased enough for me to have this skill. I love Keldnir runes. Yeah, something like that. So this one I'm always slightly careful with. This one I mostly don't really want to auto as much. Because the more HP I destroy on that thing, well, the more dead it goes. Because apparently someone forgot to rune HP on his Kiki. This was the worst Kiki I've seen in my life. But yeah, the lower HP they have, the less damage they do, because it's damage from their max HP. But yeah, this Feng Yang is kind of illegal on damage, I guess. The left artifact on Feng Yang is not even that great. Like, it's legit a pretty bad artifact. But that's also the thing. A lot of people think that Feng Yang full damage comes from artifacts. That's not the case. Feng Yang damage actually comes a lot from having defense buff and then a lot of defense and then doing damage that way. Like, artifacts sure thing help, but hitting those 8Ks on armor breaks, that's all armor break plus defense buff. It's not as much artifacts. Actually, I would arguably say that if you are planning to have defense buff or defense break a lot, you could arguably say that death increasing effect is stronger than artifacts are dealing extra damage on defense. So that's something as well. Got a 5 res, 6 CD, 6 HP, 32 attack on a slot 5 bio. It's definitely usable. I would put that on a Leo or something. Like if you want to make a high damage Leo, that's your rune. Also, Diana technically can kind of work with that rune as well. Is Fire Panda good with this team? Technically, yeah, you could use Leo, Alaya, and then double Panda, whereas one wind, one fire. Could totally work. Because the fire one also cleanses and does, I guess, some extra damage on the third skill. And I think he's also still defense scaling. But for the artifacts on this thing, it's not bad. Like, it has some extra damage on counter and that kind of stuff. Like, it works around, but it's nothing too crazy good. Like, this one is... This is a low roll, this is a... Or a double low roll, single low roll. This one is somewhat better, but has 2 stats that don't make any sense. So, the artifact-wise, this thing isn't even that great. It's just the amount of defense and HP what makes this thing good. Hey, yeet. And of course, same as kind of cheating. It's like, oh, you had 2 turns? Nope, you don't. You have 1 turn. Haha. Oh, that's actually a nice combination too. This thing complements Hellfest. What about that? Can I run Arda slot 4? Yeah, technically. Yeah, definitely actually. Because he also has damage from... Arda on slot 4 would kind of be more depending on what are you hitting, I would say. Because against some teams it is better, some teams it is worse. But yeah, Arda slot on the 4 slot would totally work. Also, I really think that the light cookie would work on the 4 slot. Because these fights are technically kind of lengthy. And I think the light cookie, if you stack like enough of her passive, she might be very good in this as well. Like 100%. If I had the light cookie, that would be in my other team. 100%. It's that Feng Yang has multi-hits and that makes it better. Otherwise, I would say that the light cookie just could replace the Feng in the first place. Killing Hellfest always takes a while, but at some point you get like a good rotation where Destroy kicks in enough and you just overkill the 50%. But it takes a while mostly. But you're never going to lose against it. Like, it's 100% not possible to lose against the Hellfest. It's only possible to get hella stalled by it. Especially since Feng is multi-hitting, you kind of need it from the hit from Leo. That's where I see a lot of people running Leos with absolutely no damage whatsoever. Don't really recommend that either. You still need some damage on the Leo to get rid of those kind of things. See? Easy. That actually, I must say, that was a fast rotation. Like, often it takes a lot longer than that. Can I show Leo? Yeah, sure. My Leo's kind of all over the place with stats. It's like 22k HP, 1.3k attack, and 2k defense or some shit. And then 88 crit rate and 150 crit damage or so. Yeah, in this team, let's say you wouldn't have a Seimei, 100% Tetra in there. You could say Veramos. Veramos is not bad, but I would like a Tetra more than a Veramos in this case. That damage is just freaking illegal, man. I was stunned. But I feel like a lot of those units... I'm not sure if the Feng Yang is that strong or these units are ruined that weak. Because I feel like with just like 10k damage, they lose like half of their HP. Would love to build this team, but I don't even have 1 monster. Yeah, okay, then it's going to be a lot more difficult. Like, if you don't have a Leo, making an auto team would revolve probably somewhere around... I don't know. You need some high cleansers. That's the main thing. Like, if you want to auto something, you want to have all of your units focusing somewhat towards healing / cleansing and doing bruiser damage and that kind of stuff. Does Alaya need skill ups? Yes. To be honest, anything you properly want to use needs skill ups. I also don't like to see it where we still have a whole bunch of guildies that go in with like, oh, this is my Leo dupe, so my Leo dupe doesn't have skill ups. Yeah, that's where you end up with the match. We actually had one today. The guy was fighting a Riley plus a Leo against the Geldnir, couldn't kill it. And he had Destroy. And the Geldnir wasn't even on Vio, and the Leo was on Vio. He just couldn't kill it because his Leo was not skilled up. And his Leo was crit rate with very low crit damage and very low attack. You're not gonna kill shit. If his Leo was already skilled, he would have won the match, 100%. Even with the exact same stats. So yes, for those kind of things, like if you want to use something properly, yes, you have to skill it up. Is it costly on the Devilmons? Yes, it is, but you gotta skill up your shit if you want to use it properly. And a book. Fun thing is, I started this recording 36 minutes ago right now. I did the first 14 hits in about 9 minutes or so. And then all of the auto hits probably take me 45. So yeah, the funny thing is that the cleaving goes very fast, the auto hitting goes super slow. But it is very safe. And in the end, makes it an easy 25-25. Yeah, getting devils is somewhat of a struggle situation, yeah. But to be honest, if you play long enough, like sure, I spent a decent amount on the game. But at some point you definitely get to the point where they release units slower than you are able to devilmon them for. Or let's say they release useful units slower than you can devilmon them for. At some point you just catch up that you get enough devilmons. But that takes a good amount of few years of playing. Let's call it that way. So just two more. So you were asking about the Leo? Oh yeah. It's 22 and then 1100, a little bit more, and then 1300. Yeah, pretty much something like that happened on the previous match too. The only difference was then that, okay. Would have been nice if you actually torrented, but... The only difference was then the Manon went like twice and actually killed the Leo. So yeah, that is pretty much my only lose scenario. If someone just goes like super weird. No Vial? Why do I need Vial? I need it to survive. I don't need it to do damage. Does your Leo even get death broken by Savannah? Mostly not. I also always use Leo lead. Like also, even in Siege, I use Leo lead. Like people are asking me, it's like, yo, why are you not using Feng Yang lead? Because Feng Yang lead is for Alaya. Alaya doesn't die. Like there's absolutely pretty much no way Alaya dies because Alaya only needs defensive stats and 100 res. Whereas Leo still needs some damage. So I don't give a shit about that 44% extra defense on Alaya. Alaya's fine on defense. Wait, didn't I tap this one to hit? Alaya's max skilled. I actually have two Alaya's max skilled, I have two Feng Yang's max skilled, and I have two Leo's max skilled. And that makes it two very easy wins on Siege always. Especially in green meta, because to be honest, everything that is Manon related kind of dies to that team straight up. And there's a lot of Manons, and Manon is very boring, so you only have to use boring offenses like this. I learn more from Sei's stream than I learned from a unique class. Depends on what university you do. And also depends on what you want to learn. Let's call it that way. I think the final, the latter thing is the more important factor to it. But yeah, is this completely 100% safe to auto everything? No. Like, as you can see, if a Manon starts armor breaking, everyone starts hitting the Leo. Leo's most likely the thing to die in this team. Like, the Fang has so much HP and defense, he's very unlikely to die. But the Leo I have seen, like, if this fails, it's always the Leo that dies. Because the Leo still... I could say, okay, put the Leo on crit rate slot 4 and add a lot more HP to it. Or a lot more defense. That could be an option. I'm studying international management and economics, IT, math, Spanish communication. That is way too much of random shit, man. I don't know. Like, I study a little bit of everything. So what can you do later? Everything and nothing. Seems like Pharaoh in general would be better than Seimei. No. The reason why Seimei is that nice is because Manon normally has 3 turns of her death buff. Manon or Seimei says no, you have 1. Good luck. Oh wait, I forgot about the Leo. I'll show the Leo afterwards. But yeah, that interaction is pretty nice because she's like, yeah, I got a buff. Yeah, I wasted my buff. Super chill. Plus, if Vermos gets stunned, he doesn't get attack bar. If they would ever remove that part of Vermos' passive, that where he's stunned, he doesn't get attack bar, Vermos will become one of the stronger units in the game, like 100% sure. That would make Vermos probably the best unit against dots in the game, like by far, really freaking far. I like it when Manon dies like that. At least we have a destroy. Manon is very likely to be on destroy actually. Proc and go again. Oh, worked. Solved. Well, to be honest, you often hear it with schooling, universities and whatnot. The moment they go do an internship, people tend to say like, oh, I learned more in 1 day of an internship than I learned in 3 years of my school. Which is understandable that people say it, but it's a very different style of learning. Because in school you learn for every scenario, kind of. Whereas if you do an internship, you learn how to do one specific job or task in a company that is effective for that company. But you do something very practical. Whereas in school you learn all of like this weird theoretical things, and even like the practical things that you have to do are like super random and vague most of the time. Even if they are not really like that, you still feel like you're doing it towards nothing. Because in the end, you only do it for the grade, you don't do it for something actual useful. So because of that reason, you hear it pretty often that people say like, oh yeah, I learned more in 1 day internship than like 4 years of school. Or like a week of internship for like 4 years of school. It can feel like that, but it's definitely not that way. Like in the end, if you sum up at the end of your school 4 years, what you all learned, it's a lot of shit. Definitely a lot of shit. Also a lot of useless shit, but you definitely did learn a lot of shit. For me, if you ask me right now about my bachelor, what's the main thing that I remember from my bachelor is that you don't have to buy any books. Especially, man, I did software engineering bachelor, and they wanted to have me buy like a shit ton of books, and I already bought books for the first year, and also during like the IT studies before that, I was always buying books. From the second year of my bachelor, I was like, fuck it, I'm not buying any books. Like whether I make it or not, I don't give a shit. I'm not gonna buy any fucking books ever again. Because all of the time it's like, yeah, we use the book, buy the book, blah blah, we totally use it. They don't use jack shit of the book. In the end, it's all just like, oh, it's IT shit, look it up online. Like, of course, man, fuck your book. The only reason they want you to buy the books is because the books are most likely written by one of the old professors or whatever. Any favorite programming language? I haven't programmed that much as of recent, but I was always most familiar with PHP. PHP and JavaScript. So yeah, in this case we can see the scenario where it takes slightly longer to kill a health husk, but we're still gonna clear it. $100K worth of books. Yeah, I'm pretty curious what kind of currency that will be, because 100K is a lot. Especially for 10 books. Like, no way your books are 10K a pop. Yeah, that's also the thing. Like, these books are, because you kind of have to buy them, they also give you like a Monopoly stupid kind of price on that shit. Because they know you need it. But the stupid thing is they force you to need it. You know how Monopoly works. Well, technically it's not Monopoly, but it's forcing the ask and demand. They are giving you the demand, or they are forcing you to demand. And then they can say like, okay, we sell you that shit that you don't need. And then you buy a fucking book for 50 euros, 60 euros, something nonsense like that. And then you never fucking look at it. Okay, this is where we should clear it. If this thing doesn't proc, because if Elia procs right now, I still don't get it. Yeah, now now it's below. So like I said, you always clear health as it just takes a while. And that was a 25 out of 25, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, easy, right? So we did the first 14 in a few minutes, and then the last in a lot longer. This is the Leo. It's minus fire, but actually most of the time I don't really hit fire. Maybe I should just still do minus water, because Manon and Tianleng, well, fire is with Vanessa. But Manon and Tianleng are most likely the ones that fuck with Leo, I guess. But it has some weird runes like this one, quadroll, resistance. Some other weird shit. Doesn't have bad runes, I would say. But you could say like, okay, we go crit rate slot 4, we remove the crit damage and then focus more on the other stats. And you definitely want to go for artifacts that go towards defense. Because 1500 HP on this has a lot less value than 100 defense on this. But yeah, that's all there is towards InterServer. Now we can claim some rewards. I still don't know why I can't claim everything here and why it cannot instantly go towards my, well, having it rather than we send it to the inbox.